So what is inquiry? What is dialectic inquiry? Let's pause with that question for a moment. Let's let it land here. I don't know what I'm going to say. I don't know. There's no prepared answer to this question. So we sense, take a moment and we see what's here. This is the jumping off point of the inquiry. Taking stock for a moment inside of what's happening in my experience. What am I noticing? What am I feeling? And I'm sitting here and I'm checking, what's that sensation in my feet? How do my feet feel touching the floor? What's the actual palpable contact with that flesh on the ground, the texture of it? And in my torso, what's this openness in my chest? How does it affect me? How does it impact me? I remember asking my teacher some time ago, I was struggling with a particular meditation practice to do with concentration. And I asked him, I was a little bit distraught, and I said I really couldn't do it. I was struggling so much and I was trying so hard to do it. And he told me in quite a relaxed manner that meditation, the practice, it's a knack. There's a knack to it. There's a knack to the going inwards. There's a knack to the turning the attention away from the thoughts into the conscious experience. And if you like, that knack is what we talk about with inquiry. So I'm not giving you a list of instructions or techniques. That's not faithful to the practice. The practice is a knack of feeling the atmosphere inside. We're checking out what it feels like to be inside myself. At the heart of the practice, really what the heart of this practice is love. Turning inside, actually feeling my experience, seeing what's happening in my interior realm is the most loving act a human being can do for themselves. The looking we look for outside, the being seen, the being loved, the being valued, which human beings or the external sources of these things can only ever but approximate, right? Never quite fulfilling that longing for them. We can actually do in a moment quite simply by simply turning our attention inwards, actually reorienting our outward gaze into the inner experience that's happening. You can call it consciousness, but it actually doesn't matter what it's called. It's more the felt sense, the atmosphere, the experience. And that love, that being seen by yourself, by the looking, that's where the dialectic begins. So when we talk about inquiry, there's a curiosity that comes with that. It's looking in a way that's actually interested in what I am. I'm actually interested in what I am and I want to know, right? So in the union, for example, that happens in a relationship with two people, that's why love and the particular aspect of thalma in the heart is so crucial to igniting the inquiry process. What happens between two people is that desire to know the other, the desire to be known by the other. Those of you who have experienced being in love will recognize this experience. And it's the same thing that we feel in ourselves, but in the most complete and full way possible. I desire to know myself. I desire to know what I am. And that starts as a curiosity, right? The little wonder, the innocent lightness, the kind of childlike, innocent gaze of meraviglia, we say in Italian. Being marveled, marveling, right? And it deepens into a real passionate longing and wanting to know, what is it that I am? So that's the core movement of the inquiry. And the dialectic, the part of the dialectic, is the looking happening. It's that knack for the looker. So that which looks, which is actually, we could call it the faculty of intelligence, not an intellectual, rational, PhD intelligence. No, we're talking about the actual faculty of us as human beings, this intelligence that knows itself, that experiences, that is self-conscious, right? So this intelligence turned inwards is the inquirer, it is the knower, and that which it knows is the experience. And the meeting of those two things, which happens in an experience of love, That's the dialectic, that's the communication, that's the dance. That's the relationship that we develop with ourselves. And inquiry is a practice of relating with ourselves by feeling ourselves, by knowing ourselves, by wanting to know that which we are. This is the love, this is the thread that pulls us deeper and deeper and deeper into knowing our experience. And when we find out what's there, whatever it is, I feel pain in my shoulder, I feel itchiness in my feet, I feel sadness or pressure or depression in my heart, in my chest, I feel anxiety in my stomach. Doesn't matter what the experience is, right? These are just examples of content that experience can have. Whatever it is, we turn towards that. That is our starting point. That's where the inquiry begins. That's the homing beacon that we follow into the truth. There's no other way, there's no other place that the truth can be found. This is dialectic inquiry. And this is what we practice in our sessions. And eventually, it comes to subsume our whole life as the deepening into what we are goes and radiates out into our everyday existing here as human beings in Earth.